As you look at the campaign and the way the initial polls, which are not terribly meaningful, they just are a snapshot right now, very early on, but you've got the most diverse field, more women than ever before in this field, yet a couple of older white men are leading the pack. Do you have an explanation for why it is still so difficult for women to run for president?
Andrea, I have to tell you, I think it's really early in the process, and I am not going to judge the entire campaign based on these first early months. I think there is still a lot of work that each candidate has to do to make their case to the American public, to introduce themselves to the American public. But I will say this, because I'm obviously acutely aware of the conversation that is taking place. Every office I've run for, in particular running for a district attorney and then running for attorney general, no one like me had ever done the job based on gender, based on race. And the pundits, for the most part, each time I ran said it was impossible, it can't happen, people aren't ready for it. And I won. So if I answer your question just based on personal experience, I will say that I think the voters are smarter than perhaps pundits sometimes give them credit for. I think voters are able to distinguish who can best do the job at this moment, and they are able to overlook who has traditionally done the job in favor of who should do the job.
And I was just referring to a piece by Claire Potter in the New York Times that said that, for instance, about Joe Biden, although Mr. Biden fumbled 2 previous presidential bids, we are told he has crossover appeal. Bernie Sanders has been admired by this newspaper as immune to intimidation. And Pete Buttigieg, who would be the first openly gay man nominated for president, is considered very authentic. By contrast, Ms. Harris is hard to define, Ms. Klobuchar is mean, Ms. Warren is wonky. Professor, you guessed it, it's not likable enough. Is this some intangible that the media seem to be imposing on how we rank candidates?
I mean, I'll tell you, the people that I'm focused on are the people who are showing up at our town halls, and they have been showing up by the thousands. We've had sold-out crowds in Iowa and New Hampshire, and by that I mean literally the fire marshal has sent people away because we reached capacity. In New Hampshire, we had an event where we hoped there would be 800 people. 1,500 people showed up in a snowstorm. So if I gauge these issues based on real people and the people who are in these states and who are voters and who are invested in the outcome of this election, I would say that we don't have a problem.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.